And we are going live. All right, awesome. Yes, we're going live. I'm just going to check to make sure we are live, and I think that we are. I'm super excited. It's been a long time coming, Angela. Yes, we are live. Woohoo!
Yes. How many years?
Yes, I know. I'm super excited. I'm super excited. All right. Hey, hey, hey. Come into the room. The dream catcher room. Actually, when you're coming into the room, you're coming into the dream builder room today, because today I'm doing something extra, 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 extra special. So if you didn't know, I have an online school and it is called the Live Richer Academy. And let me just put that up there, bonus. And so with the Literature Academy, we have amazing courses and classes. And typically every week we have something called Ask the Expert. And that's when I bring an amazing expert in to teach you something that is like finance or finance adjacent. So my online school, so if you guys know that my basic financial education things are free, but in my online school, for a nominal price every month, you get access to live lessons like we're doing tonight. And these lessons really help to take your life to the next level and your finances to the next level. So how to trade, how to buy real estate, how to invest, how to start a business, how to self-publish a book. We've got amazing, amazing classes. And today is no different. And I'm really excited because I have literally never seen a class like this ever online. So you guys are getting the exclusive. And normally, like I said, this is something that is part of the academy. And normally you would not, quite honestly, be able to have access to it if you weren't part of the Literature Academy. But I just felt like this was so special. And I'm really excited because I just felt like this was so special that I had to share. And so I worked with an amazing woman. Well, first and foremost, she was my friend. So I met Angela, Assemblywoman Angela V. McKnight. I met her. Angela, when did we meet?
Wow, we met, I think it was at one of your training classes.
Yes, it was through the United Way.
Yes.
And so we met through the training class at the United Way. And what happened was I was teaching these classes that were free for the community. The United Way paid me. I had a contract with them. And Angela took a class. And then Angela, where were you working then when you took my class?
I had just left my corporate job, okay, and I started my Care About You senior services business.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so Angela's just always been like really big and heavy into the community. And she ran for Assemblywoman of Jersey City, New Jersey. And of course she won because slayage, that's what we do. And first things first, Angela said, I want to do something. I remember that thing distinctly. You said, I want to do something to affect education. I think that's what you told me, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And you were like, I took your class. I loved your class. And by then we were already friends. And you were asking me about financial education. And I said, there's already a law in the state of New Jersey for high school for financial education. I said, but honestly, Angela, there really should be a law in place for younger students. That when I taught preschool for 10 years, and I just found that you can age appropriately teach children as young as 3 financial education. And I just thought that there should be a law in place to guarantee that children had access to financial education. And Angela said, let's do it. I think we met up in 2014, 2015.
Yeah, 2015 at Starbucks.
At Starbucks, yeah. Yep. And we have that picture. I should have printed it out so I could show the people. So we met up at Starbucks, just started talking about it. And I remember you said that you were going to have some of your aides look up what the law stated for high school so we could start figuring out what we thought the law for younger students should look like. And then I think a few months later, I came to your office in Jersey City and we started to rehash the bill and worked on some feed from the education committee in Jersey. Oh no, my internet, don't do this. And And so as a result, like, it took 3 years of back and forth, but I'm keeping it light because I want Angela to truly walk us through what it looks like to think of change, to reach out to someone in office, and to walk that change through to create some permanent change. Let me just make sure that this is not making my internet not like these doors. That's making my internet not want to be my friend. Let the internet blow through. And so I really wanted Angela to walk us through what that looked like. So I'm keeping it like real light. So it took about 3 years, and there was about a lot of back and forth. But in January 2019, the bill that Angela and I wrote together was signed into law. It was such a historic day because Angela chose the Barack Obama. It was at a middle school, Angela?
It's a grammar school. So the Barack Obama Elementary School here in Jersey City.
And
that
so,
I championed to get named after Barack Obama.
Yes, because of course she's amazing. And she and so the law was signed, the bill was signed into a law in front of middle school students right there in the auditorium. I got to stand on stage. My mama got to come, my friends got to come. It was just a really momentous occasion. But I didn't know that a regular person could get a law passed. So I asked Angela, like forever ago, if she could come on and see, like I said, normally this is behind the Literature Academy, and you got to pay for the Literature Academy. But so I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into the goodness. For those of you who are dream builders, and meaning that you pay for the Literature Academy, we always get down like this. And I'll tell you later, if you're wanting to join the Academy to get more access and stuff like this, I'll share how later. So I really brought Angela on to help us walk through, if you see change that you want to happen in your neighborhood, community, state, what does that look like to get that change to happen? Because we live in very political, divisive times, and you might think to yourself, there's nothing I can do, but me, a whole me. We've got this law that me and Angela like to call the Budgetnista law, but officially it's law A1414. A whole law was passed because a friend of mine was amazing and works in politics and reached out for my opinion. A law. Children, my friend Rihanna was over the other day, and her daughter was working on something, and I realized it was financial literacy homework. And for the first time, it hit me like, she's got financial literacy homework because of a law that I worked on. Someone else, Angela, hit me, that another friend hit me and said that his friend is now working at a school in New Jersey as a financial literacy teacher. It didn't even hit me, to Angela, that there people have gotten hired as a result of this amazing law we got passed. So I just wanted you to kind of walk us through, what does that look like? If someone says, this doesn't seem right, so let's walk through, my particular law, the law that we wrote, right? So okay. You came to me, so yes, I'm gonna let you walk through.
Well, first of all, Tiffany, you did a great job explaining it to the people. I just want to say thank you for having me on here, and thank you for always opening your doors to me. Every time I come to you, okay, Angela, okay. So kudos to you, Tiffany. So I just want to walk everyone through the process. It all starts with an idea. So if you have an idea, if you see a problem and you think you have a solution to that problem, or if there is something that you want to enhance, that's it. It starts with that. So You can either go to your state legislator. So for the state of New Jersey, there is a website, and I want you to document this website, because this website has a lot of gems on it. Are you ready? So this website is njleg.state.nj.us.
You're gonna have to do that again, Angela. Wait, hold on, because I'm about to type it in for the people.
Okay.
And sidebar, if you have not shared this video, please do, because we have more power than you think. These are two sisters that have effectively made thousands and thousands of children's lives more enriched. So you have the power, and you have more power than you think. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it on your timeline. Share it in a group, if you're allowed to, in a group that you belong to. We have Assemblywoman Angela D. McKnight here that's going to walk us through how she gets laws passed. Well, just to be clear, Angela, how many laws have you passed? First of all, how many years of service have you put in as an Assemblywoman?
So I was elected in 2015, and
Okay.
just this past November, I was elected for my third term. Each term is
Yeah.
2 years. So I
Okay.
am now into my third term.
So
Yay!
basically, 5 years, how many laws have you had passed in 5 years?
Hundreds. I don't even know the number.
So, did you hear what she said? I don't think you understand. I was sharing with my dad that, oh, Angela's got like hundreds of laws passed. He was like, because my dad's really into politics. He said, do you know there are people who have been in politics their whole lives and never got one law passed? You are listening to a woman now who has gotten hundreds of laws passed.
Yes.
Hundreds. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like I'm literally getting goosebumps at how special it is that we have her here showing us how we can affect change in a real way. Angela didn't get 1 or 2, hundreds. She is effective in getting laws passed, but she's about to break it down of how that happens. So I just had to interrupt because I want to make sure that you guys share this video, because normally this is part of the Literature Academy and folks pay money to get access to these live lessons that we do every week. But it was so important. I said I was going to open access to give you a little preview of what it looks like inside the Literature Academy. And then I'll invite you to join us later, give you a little discount to join us if you want to join us tonight. But I just wanted to be clear about who we have in front of us. Okay, so first you said we start with an idea. And then you said what was the website that you gave us?
So the website is njleg.state.nj.us.
US, okay. NJLEG, like leg, right?
Yes.
.state.nj.us. And what's that website for?
So this is the New Jersey State website where people can go and find who their legislators are. So the assembly people, as well as their senators, they can check to see how we vote, what laws we pass, where are the laws, everything. So everyone should definitely bookmark this particular website. You can actually go on and see recordings too.
If you're not in New Jersey, what should people Google in order to find? Because what if someone's in Georgia? How do they find theirs?
So what you want to do is Google who state legislator for your county or for your city, and it will direct you to that particular website.
Okay.
Okay. So just keep that. So now I come to Tiffany and I say, Tiffany, I want to do a piece of legislation so that we can help bring financial literacy. As Tiffany mentioned, financial literacy was only in high schools, but as we all know, as soon as a child said, hey, mommy, can you buy? Or hey, daddy, can you buy? It's time for us to teach them about financial literacy age appropriate. So we talked at the Starbucks. She gave me her expertise. I then worked with my team and we came up with a draft piece of legislation. Now I have 2 sets of teams. So I have a whole team that does all the research and actually write the particular law, because they have their lawyers and they have to make sure that it coincides with what I want. Once we get a draft, it's a draft piece of legislation, I then sent it to Tiffany and I said, Tiffany, read this piece of legislation to make sure that we got it right. So we went back and forth, and then we had to bring in some advocates to go over the law with us. Remember, Tiffany, we're right here in my office.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So let's break it down so we can understand. So first, Angela had an idea, right? So that's one. So you have an idea to make things better. 2, she reached out to me, who she felt was going to be an expert in this idea. And I gave her some additional information that, there was already a law in place for high school. And as a teacher, this is how, because I used to be a former school teacher, this is how sometimes these laws can be disruptive to a classroom and not as helpful. So here's my 2 cents of how we could tweak to make this bill, because it's not a law at first, right, Angela?
Exactly. It's a bill, piece of legislation.
A piece of legislation, and that's a bill. So it can't do anything. It's just, that's what you call it, almost like a pre-law, but there's no guarantee that the bill will become a law.
Absolutely.
Right. So then who else can write a bill? So an assemblywoman can write a bill. Can anybody else write a bill? Councilman,
So for the state, either an assembly person can write a bill or a senator. So each piece of legislation has to have a Senate sponsor as well as an assembly sponsor. So the one piece of legislation goes 2 paths, and we're just talking about state. All right. So once we got the piece of legislation, we understood it. We said it will not be a standalone class. It will be infused in each class, right, Tiffany?
Mm-hmm.
Then we drop the bill. So once you drop a bill, that's when a number is attached to it. So that's why you have that A1414.
Okay.
So that's 1,414 bills. So 1,413 bills were already dropped. So then
that year or in total?
That session. So the
Okay.
session is 2 years.
Okay. Oh, this is good. It's like civics class. Are you guys getting this? Getting this drop, getting this tea, this government tea? Did you share this video? This is part of the Literature Academy, which normally costs money. We're giving this as a freebie so you can see how awesome the Academy is. Angela B. McKnight, she is an Assemblywoman. She reached out to me, and about this time last year, we got the budget needs to law passed, making it mandatory for middle school students to have financial education integrated into the school system. I asked Angela to come on to break down how does a law become a law, and how can you get a law passed that's beneficial to your state. And Angela is breaking it downtown Julie Brown. You might be too young for downtown Julie Brown, but we're not too young for downtown Julie Brown. Remember that, Angela? Right?
Yes.
So Angela, you said something before about if I said can a councilman, you said no, it would have to be a senator or an assembly person, right?
Just for the state.
For the state.
Now you have local, so council people can drop legislation, but we're just concentrating on state. So the pieces of legislation that I work on is for the entire state.
Okay.
The council people legislation is for that particular municipality.
Okay.
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 So we got the number 1414. In addition, I'm working behind the scenes because I need to get a senator to drop the piece of legislation too. Because remember, the piece of legislation has to go to both Senate and Assembly. Okay. So once we get the number, then I have to get it to go to committee. And this particular piece of legislation went through the Education Committee because that was for education.
Okay.
And it had
does every bill have to go through a committee?
Yes, every bill has to go through a committee on the Assembly side as well as the Senate side. Okay. Remember, there's two paths.
Okay.
All right. So once it went through committee, so a committee is a subset of 80 members. So our state has 80 assembly people, 2 assembly people per district, and our state has 40 senators, 1 senator per district. Okay. So of the 80 assembly people, we all are assigned to committees.
Okay.
Right. So it's a subset. So a committee can have 4, 5, 10, depending on the committee. So our piece of legislation had to pass through the Education Committee. So say that was 7 committee members. So people had to go and come testify whether they opposed the bill or liked the bill. And remember, I called you and I said, hey, Tiffany, can you come down to testify? Yes. You weren't able to come down because you were, you have prior commitments, but you did send me a testimonial. So you typed up your support for that particular bill. So I want people to know that just in case you can't go and testify in front of the committee for a bill, you can still send a letter. You can still call your representatives to say, hey, I support A1414 or whatever that number is. So you still have power.
So to be clear, because I want people to understand, because it sounds like a lot. So it's like idea. Your idea might just come from you. You might have an idea with somebody in the community, and then you write a piece. Well, first you do some research to make sure there's no law in place already that addresses that issue. And then you do your research and you create a piece of legislation. It's pretty rough, and you kind of clean it up, and that becomes a bill.
Yes.
And then with that bill, you then drop the bill.
Yes.
And what that means is basically you present it to who again?
So when you drop the bill, it gets assigned a number. So that's the A1414.
Yeah, because yes, okay.
Yes. Then I have to make sure that it can go to the committee so that it can be heard.
Yes. And so is it like, does everyone on the committee have to be okay with it, or is it just majority? How does that work?
Majority.
Okay.
So if there are 10 members on the committee, majority, which will be 6.
Okay. Got it. So then, okay, so budget needs a law, goes to committee, what happens then?
All right, so after it passes out of committee, yay!
Yeah.
Then I needed to pass the full assembly floor. So
Okay.
the bill has to pass the full assembly floor with 41 of the 80 assembly people voting yes.
Okay.
So there are 80 assembly members, and for a bill to pass the full floor, it needs to have 41 votes in the affirmative.
And so 80 assembly members, where do they come from again? These 80, because it might not be 80 in your state, but assembly members are what again? How do you know how many assembly members you have in your state?
Well, if you go to your website, so for ours is the njledge.state.nj.us, but I'm telling you, for the state of New Jersey, there are 80 assembly members.
Okay.
So 52 of the 80 members, as of right now, are all Democrats, and the others are Republicans.
Okay.
So the Democrats in the state of New Jersey, we have control of the houses.
and to ask you this, so in the committee, is it a mix of Democrats and Republicans in the committee?
Yes. So there's a mix of Republicans and Democrats, and the majority wins. So in the committee for your bill, the A1414, it was a nonpartisan piece of legislation because we have received Republicans and Democrats votes, which is great.
Okay, yes, which is great. So yeah, our bill was such that Republicans and Democrats were like, this is a great bill. Some people say there might be a little echoing, so I'm gonna put my headphones in. Some people say that, there are some bills that are very partisan, meaning that Republicans are like, no, 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 no. Democrats are like, yes, 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 yes. Or Democrats are like, no, 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 no. Republicans are yes, 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 yes. But financial education for kids, thankfully, was something that both parties, they could get behind.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So once it gets approved on the full floor, 41 votes. So it sits there because now it has passed the House of Assembly. Okay. Now you got to think of the Senate side. The same thing can happen during the same path, right?
Okay. Do they have a committee too on the Senate side?
You have a committee on the Senate side, and then it has to pass on the Senate's floor 21 votes because there are 40 senators in the state of New Jersey. Okay. So we need 21 votes.
But for your state, it would just be the majority in your state. So Angela, I know you're not from other states, but do you know, is it the same for every state that it's like idea, bill, drop the bill gets a number, then it goes to a committee, then from the committee to the floor? Is it the same path?
Yes, for the most part, yes. That's how democracy works.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so now,
so awesome. So, I see you guys asking, like, what about, sorry, Angela, I see people asking, what about other states? What about other states? So Deborah, people who are asking, it's still the same path that idea, then working with likely either your assembly person or a senator to say, I think this is really important. They have a team that will do research to make sure that your law is not already a duplicate of something that's already out there. If they too feel that it's important, then together, they'll likely have their team work on the language of the bill, and they might ask you for some input, they may or may not. And then once that bill is written, they're going to then drop the bill, meaning the bill will get an official number.
Yes.
And then once that happens, and do you know how long, Angela, I guess you can't really tell, between when it's dropped and then it gets voted on in the committee?
Well, let me tell you, there are pieces of legislation that have taken 10 years. Right? So it's up to the people to help. This is why it's so important for people to advocate for what they believe is correct and what is right.
Okay. So because you don't know how long
it takes 6 months, a year, 10 years, when you have to reintroduce the bill over and over and over again. So that's why advocacy is so pertinent. Because
if they hear your voice, remember, assembly people and senators, these are folks that are working on behalf of the public, you. So if they think that you think it's important, then they can expedite that bill, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're putting all the pressure on us. So we have to work. right? And we're not working just on one bill. We're working on multiple bills, depending on that particular legislator, right?
Okay.
You're working on multiple bills. So we need, and I need your help to help make sure that other assembly people and senators understand that this is something that needs to occur, that needs to get done. All right.
So then it goes to the Senate side. So we already did the Assembly side. Now the Senate side goes to committee, passes committee. Now it's on the Senate floor. And same thing. Do you have testifying when it comes to the Senate floor as well?
For the committee. So if you want to testify, everything that happens inside of the committee. So if you want to testify, whether you for it or against it, you can go and testify in person. You can send emails to your legislators. You can actually call your legislators as well. So now, so say it passed both houses, the Assembly and the Senate. Now it heads to the governor's desk.
Okay.
So it's not over yet.
Woo, I know.
You know why it's not over? Because you have to sing your voice to the governor to let him or her know that this piece of legislation is pertinent and we need for you to sign this piece of legislation, because the governor has options. The governor can sign the bill, which will make it law, right? The governor can conditionally veto the bill, which the governor will say, hey, I like this bill, but I need for this to be added, right? Or the governor can just veto the bill and just say, nope, don't want it. And then you will have to wait until another session to start to reintroduce that bill.
Okay.
And that can be another 2 years, depending on when it, reached the governor's desk.
Okay. Now, so someone asked a question that what if, like, can someone look at our bill A1414?
Yes, they can.
And then use the same language for a bill that they want to introduce in their state?
Yes, what they can do is go onto the New Jersey Ledge website, download, because you can just put 1414 and download it, and you can send that to your legislator and say, hey, this is a bill that was signed into law last year in the state of New Jersey. I would like for you to introduce this piece of legislation, and then they will work with their state assembly people or senator.
Okay, I like
and
that.
Depending on their laws, there may be some tweaking that needs to occur, but at least you're giving them the blueprint.
Yes, I love that. Okay, you guys keep asking your questions. So Stacy asked, do you have to get the votes first? I'm not sure what you mean, Stacy, meaning like not to drop a bill, you don't have to get votes.
No, not to drop a bill, you don't need votes. But once you drop your bill, you need to be working on your bill. So that means you need to start talking to your fellow assembly people and your fellow senators to garner their support. And this is where the public can come in at. You can do a change.org and get people to sign and say, yes, I approve this bill, I'm for this bill, and then you can have that sent to your fellow legislator. You can have people to call their legislators, email their legislators, because at times, depending on the particular bill, I get bombarded with emails and phone calls, whether people oppose a bill or for a bill.
Okay. And I love this already in the comments. I'm seeing Tracy D. Jackson. She's in, I guess, Washington, D.C. And I guess D.C. has a council, and she's like sharing her phone number saying, if you're interested in dropping this bill or something similar, call me. So you see, you literally have, right? You literally have legislators right here in the comments that are listening to you. And they're like, do you want a financial, right? Do you want a financial literacy bill? Okay. And like, literally, if you Google A141 law A1414 or New Jersey law A1414, you will find the law online, and you could literally just grab that law and the language and share it with your legislator and say, hey, remember, if it's going to be a state bill, it's typically, unless it's like, if it's going to be a state bill, it's an assembly person or a senator. Those are the two people that can drop a bill. Correct, Angela?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's like a civic lesson. Ask y'all questions to Miss Angela.
Let me tell people what that A stands for. So A1414, A stands for assembly. And then if you see a number S2835, S stands for Senate, because one piece of legislation has two versions. They are the same version, but they get different numbers. So A for
Okay.
Assembly and S for Senate.
Okay. And like I
And
said,
they
if you
have to
have
be
not-
identical. They have to be identical before they go to the governor's desk.
Okay. And so if you have not shared this video, you're really doing the people around you a disservice. Click share. We're going to do a recap. I'm going to take some questions because this is as soon as we hang up, it's recorded, so you can watch it again. And because I want you to have a clear understanding of what it looks like to get a law passed. It's not a small thing. I mean, like, when I think about it, like, think about how many children now are going to start learning about financial education in New Jersey because Angela had the wherewithal to connect with me and say, I think this is a thing we should do. And I was like, heck yeah. Think about what that means for if you learn about financial education in middle school, that's done in New Jersey. Then in high school, again, New Jersey got that unlocked, right? So by the time you go to college, the first time you hear about credit is not going to be when you're 18. The first time you hear about a budget, it's not going to be when you're 18. The first time you hear about debt or interest rate, it's not going to be when you're 18. It's not going to be when a credit card is put in your hand and you don't know what to do, because you have gotten some foundational financial education already. That is life transforming. And if you don't believe me, how that can transform your life, the reason why I am the Budgetnista, the reason why I've been able to help literally millions of women get and stay on financial track is because in my household, my dad, who was a CFO, a chief financial officer, and an accountant, and my mom, together, they taught me and my 4 sisters about personal finance when we were children. As a result of me learning as a kid, you are now benefiting. Do you see? Like, it's not a small thing to teach a child about money. Because someone taught me about money, I've now been able to help millions of women. I've now been able to work with Angela to get a law passed. So it is, the ripple effect is unmatched when you teach someone education.
Yes.
And so, like, yeah, I just think that, like, I'm super, like, grateful that you come on, Angela. We're gonna do like I want to run through it again for those people who might just be joining. If you have not shared, now's the perfect time, because Angela's gonna run through again, you know, like what it looks like to go from idea to law passed. So you guys can fully get it, and you can be empowered to make change happen where you are. And someone asked a question, then we'll take some questions, like, how do we make this how do we make this a federal law? Do you know how federal laws get passed, Angela?
Well, so you have senators, U.S. senators, as well as U.S. Congress members. So you can definitely reach out to your U.S. senator. If you're in the state of New Jersey, it's Senator Cory Booker, as well as Senator Menendez. You have Congressman Donald Payne. You have Congresswoman Michael Sherrill. You have a lot of Congress people as well as senators. You can reach out to them, download this bill, A1414, and send it to them and say, hey, I would like to know if we can work on making this a federal law.
Mm-hmm.
And you can definitely do that. So that's from the federal. So then all the states don't have to do it if it becomes a federal law. But
Yes.
as of right now, each state, there are states that are working on this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go through the loop again. So, and I'm just going to share again for those who might have just joined. If you don't have a pen and pad, run, go get you one. Because I want you to understand what it looks like, and then we're going to take your questions, because I just think this is just an awesome opportunity to affect generational change right here, right now.
Absolutely. Okay, so a law starts off with an idea, or you saw a problem and you say, hey, I have a solution to that problem, or you want to make an enhancement to a current law. You can work with your state assembly person or your state senator, or you may get a call or email from your state assembly person or your senator to say, hey, I know you are the expert in this particular topic. I need for you to talk to me. Or you send an email or a call, or you maybe meet with your state assembly person or senator and say, hey, this is an issue. Can we make this a law? So that connection is done. Then the assembly person or the senator will work with their team to draft a piece of legislation based on the conversation that you and that person had. You will review it. You will say, yes, this is exactly what I was thinking about. Then that state assembly person or the senator will drop the bill, and then it will be assigned a number, A for assembly, S for Senate. Once it is dropped in either houses, it will then need to go to that committee. For financial literacy, it went to education because we want to make sure that grades 6th, 7th, and 8th are being taught financial literacy. So it just makes sense for that particular piece of legislation to go through the Committee of Education. A subset of 80 members are assigned to different committees. So say there were 10 committee people, assembly people in this Committee of Education. They reviewed the bill. They heard people that supported the bill. They heard people that opposed the bill. The majority votes will move the bill out of committee. Once it gets out of that particular committee, then it has to go to the full floor. But in the state of New Jersey, there are 80 members on the assembly side, so a bill will have to pass with 41 votes. Once it passed out of 41 with 41 votes, it then it holds there. It's like, all right, we're waiting for the Senate. Now, the Senate side can happen the same time or it can happen afterwards. But once it passes out of the committee on the Senate side, education, the full Senate floor with 21 votes, because there are 40 senators, then the bills are identical and then they go to the governor's desk. The governor can do three things: can approve the bill, can conditionally veto the bill, which is, hey, I like it, but I need for this to be added, or just veto the bill.
So question, Angela, if say, let's just say I went to the senator, does it, if I went to the senator with this idea for a bill and a law, does someone on the assembly side also still have to, or it's only if it starts at the assembly side?
No, nope. The bill has to be on both sides.
Okay.
So it's where it originated. So your, 1414 originated on the assembly side because I introduced it, and then I worked to get a senator for that bill.
Awesome.
And then vice versa.
Okay. So Ashley asked, how do you determine the route to take? Does it have to be a local law first before state law, before a federal law, or can it go straight to one or the other?
That's a good question. And it can go straight to one or the other. So it can originate from the state, and then say your local municipality see that law, like, oh, I want to do something with that. Like maybe I'll do a resolution to approve that. The municipality can do it, and then the federal can do it. Or if it goes to federal, there's no need to do state and local because it's a federal law.
Yes. And thank you, Tracy, for sharing that. So for those of you who are looking, because some folks want to see what the law looks like, you can, honestly, if you Google New Jersey law A1414, it'll come up. But Tracy, if you're, depending on where you're watching it, there's someone who just dropped the actual link to it, but you can just Google NJ A1414 and it'll pop up, and you can see it's not very long. It's really succinct. We got a lot of feedback from educators who were worried at first. I remember when we met with, who was that came to your office, Angela? It was like a superintendent, who was that came to your office?
Yeah, there were principal association came in.
Okay.
Yes, it was a group, and they came in because they were a little worried, but we worked out the kinks, and at the end of the day, it's all about negotiation. And we made sure that the law, the piece of legislation, fit everyone. So then we started getting all the support. And that's okay. So that was good. Yeah, and that's okay. Like, you put a piece of legislation in, and some people will probably say, oh, no, I don't like that. But you just start talking to massage it to make sure that it works for everyone.
Yes. No, and so because I remember what it was at first is that we had financial education will be taught in middle schools or something very definitive. And I remember them coming in, and it was principals, to your point, and teachers, and they said that the school day, and if you're a teacher, and I remember when I was a teacher, your school day is packed. When are we going to stop and have financial literacy time? But I remember speaking with them saying, you're absolutely right, that instead of saying that like financial education is almost like, because in high school, it is kind of like, here's a financial literacy class, but it's different with younger students. And then what we propose is that instead of having kind of like financial literacy time, because there's really no more time in a middle school day, that instead we were going to make it mandatory to integrate financial education. So what that could mean is that some of the books you have are financial books, that maybe an art project that you do is a savings box that the kids can do. Maybe the counting activity that you're going to do with the students is you're going to do a penny drive, where students are going to be collecting pennies and you're counting them every day and talking about how you can donate them. So that's integration versus stop. let's do money class. And so, because I received that feedback and I was like, absolutely. And you're totally right, because when I was teaching preschool, there was no more time. And so that was a compromise, a happy compromise. I remember that was made.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. First, it was a standalone, but after speaking to them and meeting of the minds, we said, okay, let's infuse it versus having it a standalone. You're absolutely correct. That's what happened.
Yes. Oh, this is so awesome.
So
Tamara,
I have 3 things that I want to share regarding this. So one thing is, another piece of legislation that was just passed this year is the state of New Jersey will recognize the month of April as Financial Literacy Month.
Woo-hoo! Yes. That's right. I forgot you passed that.
Yes. Number 2, I want people to talk to their nieces, nephews, kids about what they have been learning this year, because in the state of New Jersey, it started September 2019. So have a conversation to find out what they've been learning about financial literacy.
In New Jersey. So not everyone, honestly, Angela, literally most people are from all over. So if you're in a state where you do have financial education, that's mandatory, then yes, definitely ask your student. Or a child and you're in the States. I think North Carolina has it now. There are a handful of states that have financial education mandatory. But if you're in New Jersey, this is our first year. So definitely lean in and ask your middle school student what they learned this year. Angela and I are actually going to be hitting up some schools together, right?
Yes, we are. During the month of April, we're going to find out how the students, how the teachers, how everything is going along. Because listen, I'm an Assemblywoman, right? But I want to make sure that the law that I have, they're all working well. So this is a great way. And thank you, Tiffany, for coming.
No, exactly. I'm excited because what I want to do too is help to also lean in and share some of my feedback of some ways that they might be able to integrate. So like, for example, if I do say so myself, I wrote my first children's book. This is the cover. Happy birthday, Molly Moore. And so this, I don't have the physical book in hand yet. It's coming soon. It'll actually drop in April. So this is actually a age-appropriate financial education book for kids 3 to 7. So that's preschool, kindergarten, like just the beginning of first grade, because I knew that teachers and parents were struggling with teaching age-appropriate financial education. So I said, I'm going to write a series of books. This is the first one. And then at the back of every book, it's not here, but at the back of every book are lessons and questions you can use to the lesson for the student too. Like I would have to think to myself, how do I then integrate this book into the curriculum? But with books, Happy Birthday, Molly Moore, you're not going to, and every other Molly Moore book, you're not going to have to do that. I have already aligned Molly Moore with federal standards. So, because, like I said earlier, I was a teacher for over 10 years and I have my master's in education. And even on the Molly Moore website at mollymore.com, you are able to download, you're going to be able to download financial education, age-appropriate financial education by grade. So I'm working with educators to create those things for me. And so that way I can give it away for free to y'all. So if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you are grandma, grandpa, just like I want to teach something that's age appropriate, you'll be able to go to mollymore.com, get the book, but also hit like a drop-down menu, figure out what age your child is, and then find age-appropriate financial education for them. So I'm really excited because I feel like it's full circle for me because, I've gotten y'all adults, we getting y'all adults together, but I need to come back for the babies, which is where I started as I started as an educator. And so I'm excited about Molly Moore. So if you want to learn more, you can go to Molly, MALI more.com. If you want to purchase the book, if you want to get more financial education, it'll be there. And if you are not part of the Literature Academy, you're missing out. Okay, I'm just gonna make it plain. So this is something, like, as amazing as it is that we have Angela here, this is something that we do inside the Literature Academy regularly, typically weekly, but it depends on like whether it's a holiday, but at least a couple times a week, we have a live lesson like this, a kind of like a condensed live lesson where it's about under an hour. And then We also have like deeper dives. We have some lessons that are 3 or 4 days long that you can like watch at your leisure. And then we have lessons that are even deeper that are weeks long, because I understand that as a learner, you have to figure out for yourself, like what's the best way that you consume information.
Mhm.
And we have a private community. We call them dream builders. So dream builders are part of the Literature Academy, and inside the private community, we talk about all of the classes. So like even now, once we hang up, like you and I, me and Angela will actually head over to like chit chat with the dream builders in the Facebook group to make sure that they're good, if they have any additional questions, so they get the extra lean in. And so although this is like woohoo for y'all, this is normal everyday place for them. So the Live Richer Academy is typically, well, I won't say the price because you might be watching this a year from now, but if you go to livericheracademy.com, you'll see the price. But because you're watching live, I always like to give a discount and a bonus to people who have committed to investing in themselves. So I give a special link. So like I said, if you go to livericheracademy.com, you're going to see one price. But if you go to joinlra.com, someone type that in for me, join, JOINL for live, R for Richer, A for Academy, joinlra.com. While we are live, you get 40% off. That is our 40% off link that I disable from time to time. I enable it whenever I do something like this, kind of like a freebie to give away and give you guys a discount, but 40% off currently. Like I said, if you were to go to livericheracademy.com, you'll see the full price there. Do not sign up at livericheracademy.com if you're watching this live. If it's 2 years from now, it's probably too late. But if you're watching it now, join LRA.com, you can lock in your 40% off. And in the Literature Academy, like I said, we have courses like how to start a business, how to write your first book, how to get press for your business, how to invest in real estate, how to just buy a house, how to talk to your significant other about money, how to raise financially sound children. We have how to meal plan, how to buy a car, how to estate plan, retirement one-on-one. Oh my gosh, we have so many classes. Your money and your mindset and your money. I'm just trying to think. We have so many amazing classes. Oh, we have a class like how to make your first million, how to budget when you have an irregular income, how to build business credit, how to build personal credit. When I tell you we have hundreds of classes, we have so many classes. Oh, we have Side Hustle. One of my favorite people, Sandy, she teaches a class called Side Hustle with Sandy. How to trade stocks, how to buy Bitcoin. Literally we have so many classes because what we do is we listen to the students and we say, what do you want to learn? And then myself and my team, we personally vet all of the experts. Like you see, Angela is a unicorn. There's good, there's great, there's unicorn. Angela has hundreds of laws that she got passed. That is the kind of expert that we have inside the Literature Academy. I don't get good, I don't get great, I get unicorns inside the Literature Academy. Angela is an example of the excellence that I bring inside the Academy, that Academy members have access to on a regular basis. So Angela is not just here with us live, she's actually inside the private community and will pop in every once in a while to answer questions, right? We have some amazing experts, over 50 different experts inside the Literature Academy that teach every type of class you can think of. And if we don't have that class, when you make that suggestion, usually within a couple of weeks, I have found a unicorn expert to come and teach that class inside the Academy. I'm just really proud of the Literature Academy. And again, if you're watching and you want to lock in your 40% off discount while I'm still live, I'm going to take a few questions while I'm still live. Our special discount link will still be up. Joinlra.com. You can lock in your 40% off. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and dim. Joinlra.com. Oh, look at Dawn. She said it makes all the difference. Join the family, right, Dawn? We be rocking and rolling, and we about to. It's not over, Dawn, right? Because I see you're a dream builder. So me and Angela about to head over and just chat with dream builders. Because today we let the regular people see how we get down on a regular basis. They don't know this is what we be doing, right? And so we're about to head over and answer your additional questions for a few minutes over there in our special dream builder private group. So I just want to see if anybody has any questions before joinlra.com. It's all one word, joinlra.com. Anybody have any additional questions for Angela before we head on over to the private Literature Academy group? Ask them real quick, post them real quick. Well, I can't help that, Marilyn. I know it's frustrating that you try to watch and it's frozen, but oftentimes, like, I could see Angela clearly. It might be where your internet is. The good thing is that it's recorded, and usually the recording, no matter how much it freezes, the recording plays smoothly. So that's a good thing. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions for Angela? I just want to make sure. Oh, Angela, any last words?
Stay involved. Know who
Okay.
your legislators are, because your voice matters. I don't care what some people say, your voice matters. So get to know who your mayor is, your council people are, your assembly, your senate, as well as your federal legislators, and get to know us and let us know how we can help, because together we can do so much. So your voice matters.
Thank you. That's awesome. Your voice matters. Oh, this is cute. Maria said, join. There's a lot for us older people too. That's right, Maria. We have people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s inside the Literature Academy. There's so many amazing courses. We've got 4 core tracks. Honestly, I'm really proud of the Literature Academy and our amazing students that have transformed their lives. We are only getting better and better. So, okay. So Teresa, for those of you asking for the link to the recording, what you're watching now will be the link. As soon as we hang up, this will turn into a recording. All right, y'all. Angela, you have a few minutes to then go to come mosey on over to the to our private community for Dream Builders.
Sure, I'm there.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Angela. You're the best, honestly. We truly appreciate you.
And thanks for
Bye-bye.
watching.